We're going on hiatus for the summer, and we were going to record a massive all bells and whistles, all monkeys and Chinese China people season finale to end season 2 with a bang. But Beardo moved house, and apparently it takes anything up to a year for anyone to come and hook your internet up on the island of Australia. And you can't really have a big finale with just two dudes talking. He did, however, go into one of those internet recording booths. You know, those internet recording booths they've got.
Oh, I go into them all the time.
I know, they're a bit hissy, but Beardo recorded this just for the listeners.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Beardo's True Apologies from the Australian Past and Present. Throughout the history of the island of Australia, there have been a number of famous apologies. One of the most well known comes from recent Australian history. On the 13th of February 2008, recently elected Prime Minister and former refrigerator repairman, Kevin Rudd, formally apologised on behalf of the Australian government for the Stolen Generation, a form of long-standing cultural genocide in which Aboriginal children were forcibly taken from their families to be raised by Australians of European descent. Earlier in Australian history, another Australian Prime Minister made international headlines with another famous apology. In January 1909, on the final day of his tenure, Conservative Party Prime Minister Donald McGash issued what many consider to be the longest formal apology ever given in a national parliament, when the Australian Senate forced the departing Prime Minister to spend the entire 8 hours of the sitting parliamentary session apologising for his role in publicly encouraging the assassination of Georgina O'Loughlin, an early women's rights activist who launched a campaign demanding that women be recognised as Australian citizens. Prime Minister McGash called for her assassination in an interview with the Sydney Times newspaper, and later in 1908 she was murdered on a Melbourne tram by a mentally ill shoemaker wielding a claw hammer. O'Loughlin finally got her wish for women to be classified as citizens, but not until 1949, some 41 years after her brutal murder. I'm here today to apologise for something less heinous, but more detrimental to the SFJ podcast. Since moving house a month ago, I haven't had the internet, and so I haven't been able to record the podcast. While it is not my fault that the Australian internet service providers are incompetent, lazy and corrupt, and take up to 6 weeks to fulfil an internet connection request, it is my fault that I knowingly moved house in the middle of podcast season. As such, I do accept some responsibility, and I am sincerely sorry. Thanks, and join me next time for another episode of Beardo's True Apologies from the Australian Past and Present. Hooroo.